Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to your last week of home learning. I'm sure you are very, very excited to get back to school, and we are very, very excited to have you back. So in 1 week today, we'll be back, which will be amazing. So today, we are going back to our work on fractions that we did before half term, and we are going to be counting in fractions. So we're going to have a look at counting in tenths and hundredths, and then you guys are going to complete some sequences for me. And at the end, you're even going to write some sequences for your grown-ups at home to complete, which will be lovely. Okay, so just a recap here about numerators and denominators. So the numerator is the top number on your fraction, and that's how many equal parts do you have. And the denominator is the bottom part of your fraction, and that's how many equal parts is the whole divided into. Okay, so you can see here, your whole part, this whole pizza is divided into 4, so that's your denominator, and there's 1, 2, 3 bits of pizza left, okay? Lovely. Okay, so what I would like you to do here is finish this sequence for me. Can you see it goes 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths. What do you think is going to happen next? What happens when you get to 10 tenths? And what is this the same as? So pause the video now and finish that sequence for me. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. So the sequence would go 1 tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, and then 10 tenths. Okay, so have a look at this bar model in front of us. So can you see here, this bar model is split into 10. Okay, so the bar model is the whole, and each one of those is a tenth. So I can change the colour of these just to show you that. If I highlighted this square, this would be 1 tenth, okay? That would be our fraction. If I click on 2, that's 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, and 10 tenths. Okay, so I think a couple of weeks ago we said that when your numerator, the top number, and your denominator, the bottom number, are the same, that is equal to 1. Do you remember? Who knows? Okay, but as you can see, I've coloured in all of these, so I've proved to you that it's 1. Okay, imagine that was like a really long, skinny pizza. We've cut it into 10. If you ate 10 pieces, you would eat the whole pizza. You'd be super full. Okay, so I can also write 10 tenths as 1, they're equal. So can you see here, I've got 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, and instead of writing 10 tenths, I've written 1. Okay, and then you would have 1 whole and 1 tenth, 1 whole and 2 tenths, 1 whole and 3 tenths, etc. Oh, that says 2. There we go. All right, lovely. Okay, here I want you to count up in hundredths for me. So we've got 1 hundredth, 2 hundredths, 3 hundredths, 4 hundredths. What do you think is going to happen next? What happens when you get to 100 hundredths? And what's this the same as? So pause the video now and answer that for me. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. Okay, so your sequence would go 1 hundredth, 2 hundredths, 3 hundredths, 4 hundredths, 5 hundredths, 6 hundredths, 7 hundredths, 8 hundredths, 9 hundredths, all the way up. And then when you get to 99 hundredths, and then 100 hundredths, the same as when we're counting up in tenths, that is 1, okay? So if you had a giant number square of 100 number square, and you've coloured in all 100 of them, that would be the whole number grid coloured in, okay? So it's 1, so have a look down here. At 99 hundredths, 1, and then 1 whole, so a whole grid, and then 1 hundredth, 1 whole and 2 hundredths, 1 whole and 3 hundredths, etc. So it's actually quite simple when you think about it. All right, so here's a sequence. We've got 2 fifths, 3 fifths, 4 fifths. What do you think is going to come next? Pause the video and write out a few more in this sequence for me. Off you go. Okay, welcome back. So we've got 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 1 whole. Okay, and 1 whole and 1/5, 1 whole and 2/5, 1 whole and 3/5, 1 whole and 4/5, and 2. And we can actually do this together now. So let's add in a little grid. There it is. It's going to be 5 by 2. All right, so already we have got 2/5 coloured in. Okay, then we've got 3/5, 4/5, 1 whole. Okay, and then you've got 1 whole and 1/5, 1 whole and 2/5, 1 whole and 3/5, 1 whole and 4/5, 2. Okay, hopefully that's starting to make sense. See that children, bar models are always the way forwards. Okay, so warm children, now you have a little sheet to complete by yourself that's saved in the folder with the answers. So off you go and do that, but check in at the end of the video. And hot and spicy people, you have to copy and complete the sequences on the next slide, sorry. Okay, so here are your sequences. So you'll be able to pull this up on in the daily planner. The slides will be in there so you can see it nice and big, or you can just pause the screen and copy it off here. Okay, so when you get to questions 4, 5, and 6, think really carefully about the jumps because they're not just going up in ones. So use your brains for those ones. Okay, so I would probably say add 5 or 6 more. Don't spend all day going up to 1 million, whatever the fraction would be, okay? So pause the video now and off you go. Okay, welcome back everybody. Right, I have now got the answers on the next slide for you to check out. So we've got 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole, 1 whole and 1/4, 1 whole and 2/4, 1 whole and 3/4, 2. 2 and 1/4, 2 and 2/4, etc. Well done if you went on further than that. Good job. Right, the next one we're counting in 8s. So we've got 2 8s, 3 8s, 4 8s, 5 8s, 6 8s, 7 8s, then 1 whole. Remember, 8 8s is the same as 1 whole. Then 1 whole and 1 8, 1 whole and 2 8s, 1 whole and 3 8s, 1 whole and 4 8s, etc. Good job if you went further again. Right, the next one we're going up in 6. We've got 3 6, 4 6, 5 6, 1 whole, 1 whole and 1 6, 1 whole and 2 6, 1 whole and 3 6, 1 whole and 4 6, 1 whole and 5 6, and then 2. Lovely job. Now the ones on the next slide were the ones that were a bit trickier. Okay, so this one is kind of going up in jumps of 3, so 3/9. So we've got 3/9, 6/9, 1, 1 whole and 3/9, 1 whole and 6/9, 2. That should be 2. Sorry about that. 2 wholes and 3/9, 2 wholes and 6/9, 3. Okay, lovely. So the next one's going up in 10s, which is a little bit easier. So we've got 10 hundredths, 20 hundredths, 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths, and 1. It's a bit of a tongue twister. Oh my goodness. Right, and then the next one, did any of you spot what it was going up in? It's going up in 5s, okay? So 7 hundredths, 12 hundredths, 17 hundredths, 22 hundredths, 27 hundredths, 32 hundredths, 37 hundredths, etc. So super good job if you got all of those because they were quite tricky. Right, now, hopefully we've got our warm people back. What I want you guys to do now is to write a sequence for your adult at home to finish. Now make sure you check their work and make sure they haven't tried to trick you and get it wrong. Okay, I will see you again for some more fractions fun tomorrow. Bye.